Hello, Earthlings. It's been a while, but I'm back with something to share, of course. And what I am trying to express and what I'm trying to share and give to you all cannot be expressed in mere words, unfortunately. Because what I would like to talk about today is the implicit versus the explicit and how they connect but separate. Because if you think about it, there's like an explicit way or an explicit order, and that is the material world in which we find ourselves in. Everything that has ever been explicated has gone through a process of implication. What is implied can never fully be explained, and what is explained loses the mystery of being implied. You see, because you can think of it as sort of like cause and effect, but I feel like cause and effect are two boxes that we learn in school and never actually try to decipher or think our way through, because the implicit order is the feminine, the divine feminine. The implicit order is the mystery, the lucidity, the liquidity, the flow, the essence. That's the implicit order. What is implied, it doesn't have to be explained. Because contrary to popular belief, we live in a very explicit society. Like, I have to say it, I have to do it, I have to, that's how our society trains us. But contrary to popular belief, pretty much 99% of this entire plane of existence that we live on is implied. It can't be explained. It can't be explicated. It can't be constructed. It can't be turned into a form. Because if it were to turn into a form, it would not be implicit. Because if it's implied, it's like a detail. It's something that is never said. Words cannot, thoughts cannot, actions cannot, because it's implied. It's the mystery. It's the thing that keeps us humans enthralled in life, is like the mystery, the not knowing. The curiosity comes from a state of total ignorance. We were born into a state of complete and total ignorance. So if everything was explained and as our society is based on and properly supports through its systems, then life loses its wonder, its whimsical nature. That's the implicit order. What is implied? Look, I want you guys to, next time you are talking to somebody, or next time you are engaging with the world, start thinking about what is implied here. This person is saying something. I don't know what it is, but they're explaining one thing, but the underlying meaning is implying another. That's why I say, get out of here, you fucking suck. Versus, get out of here, you fucking suck. It's like two different implicit meanings. One is a playful tease. Another is like, I hate you. You know? That's what is lost in this world today. It's too much focused on the material. Like, people worship matter too much. Way too much. People worship matter way too much. They worship matter. They actually worship matter. They worship it. They worship material things. They worship it. I'm not talking about they like it, or I'm not talking about they do things in order to gain material things, in order to improve their life, in order to help others, or like doing it from a place of like not needing it, but truly desiring it. Those are different. But will you like worship something to where no matter how much of it you have, it's never enough? There's a serious sickness and underlying, there's an implicit, because what's being explained about this society is like, all right, but there's an underlying implicit clusterfuck that is rising up to the surface and finally being able to, we're reaching a point collectively to where we're able to explain more and more of the implicit order of things, because we are becoming aware of the implicit order to the things that we do, we say, we think, we interact with. YouTube is a perfect example because I am explaining something to you, but there's also an underlying message in which I don't know fully, you don't know fully, but somehow it's important enough to you for you to stick around this long in order to understand it. You know, because anybody can say words, you know, anybody can say words. Anybody can say the right things. But it's the energy, the underlying energy, the essence of it. Implicity is the energy behind it. Implicity is like the meaning. Like, explicit is like words are not meant to be scrutinized too much because words don't really fill in the gaps like they should. And what people say is different from the actual truth, because the actual truth is in the things that they don't say, you know? Things that they don't do, things that they don't think. The gray area, the in-between, like this world is becoming too left brain focused, which is black and white. And the creative side, the right brain, is being completely wiped out and obliterated. Because the creative side of our species is where the true power lies. And the illusion cannot exist in a world where everybody is truly empowered. So that's why explicit is like the way to go. Like, you gotta explain, you gotta do it. Like, there's so much energy involved, but no, that's not the world. The world is in the details. The world is in the things that you do not understand. That's where the real world, because our capacity for understanding is so minutely limited to what is running the world that it's ridiculous that we even have a glimpse of knowing that we are aware of how little we know, you know? And that's a miracle in and of itself. But the point I'm trying to say is that what we know can be explained. What we don't know cannot be explained. But the majority of everything that exists in this universe cannot be explained in words. Because words are a box that our mind was able to put together. You know? But it's not the whole thing. Like, I'm looking right now at a tree. But this tree wouldn't call itself a tree if it were to call itself anything. That's what we decided to call it. You know, in the English language, we decided to call trees trees. So whenever I think of a word, a idea or image or concept pops into my head. But if you think you know the thing because you have the word or the idea or the definition or the concept, then you can never truly experience the thing, because the explicit or what is right in front of you is only like 1 or 2% of what the thing actually is. There's more beauty in the implicit order, in the things that you do not understand or could have failed to realize. That's where the beauty is at. Because that's where the room for essence lies. You know, we're all made of the same essence. And this essence it operates everything, but controls nothing. It doesn't control a single thing. It operates every single thing, but it controls nothing. And that's just incredible to think about. And, you know, it's just my perspective. I'm not saying what I'm saying is the end all be all. Only reason I'm saying this is because I want to give you something that could possibly get your mind going into a direction that better suits you and the people that are around you. You know? But yeah, and it always starts with the implicit. Anything that has become a material thing in this world always started from a state of formlessness, a state of non-specification, a state of nothingness. But just because it's nothing doesn't mean it's not of substance. It just means that it can become anything. You know? And I think that's who we are at our core, is anything. Because another thing, our thoughts, like humans are different from animals because animals have their own natural physical environment. They were born into this world with a specific purpose, you know, that they don't even have to think about because it's naturally programmed into their instinctual bioengineering or their code or whatever to do whatever they do. But with us, we are born into all of these different environments. All of these different, like, no one environment is the same. No one household is ever the same. Everybody's environment is different. Everybody's had a different upbringing. Everybody's had different stuff they went through. But I've been realizing we're blessed because our environment doesn't control us. Our thoughts, our thoughts are the environment in which we live in. Our thoughts are what shapes our environment. Because you can grow up in a shitty environment, but the second you start acting right and doing right and wanting better for yourself, there's nothing in your way to stop you, and your environment immediately becomes better just because you have the capacity to change anything by changing yourself. Changing yourself first. Because you are everything. You mean everything to me. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about you. You mean everything to me. You know? You really do. Because without you, I wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be a being without you. In order for me to be a being, I have to start from the implicit order and build myself up to be able to get to a point where I can put it into form or explicate things. Cause and effect. Feminine, masculine. The feminine is instructive, but the masculine is constructive. You know? Like, the feminine is language. And language is our network. Language is our network of communication. But the masculine is specifics. But even within that, I don't even believe in like that wholeheartedly, because there's like feminine and masculine natures in every single human being. Every single human being is born with both a feminine and a masculine nature, you know? And it is our utmost duty to be able to balance those energies out within us, because they are there. They are present. And it's important. It's important. Both are important. The feminine perspective is extremely valuable. Extremely valuable. But it cannot survive without the masculine perspective. Because how would we know the difference if there wasn't an opposite? But at the end of the day, they're two sides of one whole perspective. You know? Two sides of the same coin. It's like, I know it's like the back of my hand, explicit. The palm is implicit. That's why we do palm readings, because it's like we're reading into your shape. Like, we don't do, face readings, or I don't know, face of the hand. We do palm readings because there is an implied meaning in how your hands were lined up, or like the lines. There's an implied meaning in like how your hand is shaped. There's sometimes like, that's why mysticism is such a intriguing thing, because that's why women in general, like that's why the opposite sexes are like attracted to each other, because it's like, I know what you're doing. Can't quite put my finger on it, but I know what you're doing. You know? And that feeling of knowing and not knowing coming together, that's what keeps us human beings going. You know, the balance between chaos and order. Order, I guess, is explicit and chaos is implicit. But chaos breeds nothing but potential. It's the fertile ground for everything to come out of. It's the unifying field for everything that comes to rise up. Slowly or surely, through cause and effect, to the explicit order, to where it can be tangible. It can be explained, it can be felt, it can be touched, it can be heard, you know? But there's no difference between the two. It's just different stages. Different stages. Different stages, different changes, different functions. One isn't better than the other. They need both to survive. You know? But our society has put an X-ray, super microscope on explicit, and has barred out anything about any type of implicity. Like, there's so many brute materialists out here, it's ridiculous. There's so many people that believe that what you see right in front of you is all that you have. That's fucking nuts. I don't know how people live like that. And then some people look at me crazy because I believe that there's things that I can't see, but they're real. Like things that I can't experience with the five senses that are real. They're real. They're not just made up. They're real. They're tangible. No, they're intangible, but they're substantial. They have substance. These things have meaning. And the beauty is trying to explain the implicit, but not trying to explain it too much. Because that's the thing that keeps anything going is the mystery of it all. You know? Because if you knew, you'd be bored. And if you're bored, you don't want to live. Really? We're that crazy to where we need that adventure. We need to bring back curiosity. We need to bring back questions. Questions. There's not enough questions. Questions are that deep dive into the implicit order. Questions are opening up a portal. Opening up a door is opening up a portal. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. Questions, you turn the key and open a door and see what's up. And like the root of the word question is a quest. It's a quest. Questions are quests. And we just lose sight of that sometimes, you know. But I believe that I have accomplished what I wanted to accomplish in discussing implicit versus explicit order. You know, and the way I went about this is very implicit because this doesn't have a structure or an order. You just have to keep up and be present with it in order to truly digest it. Because I try to be right here, right now. You know? And like, you can leave traces behind, but there's no real trace left behind. And there's really nothing other than how you feel and how you make others feel. So I hope I made you feel something, at the very least. And if you have made it this far, that's good for you, because you probably have gotten a lot of good information from this. I hope I explained it well. Love you.